All right. So we begin with checking who's from where. So basically, this is the other one. Great. So we have a nice combination of people from US and Europe, and is that from Guatemala? So, all right. So let's move on. So my presentation is about the knowledge constructors online learning environment, which I've been building during the last 2 years. The system started with the question how to combine compulsory education or curriculum and the ideals of democratic education or unschooling. I was actually running a small democratic school in Finland for 3 years, and that's the problem we kind of ran into, because in Finland we have the mandatory national curriculum that everybody has to follow, even the homeschoolers. So I got this idea that if we had this system online where the curriculum would be cut down into small pieces, like questions and tasks, so the students could pick any one of them on their own pace. It could give them kind of the freedom and the flexibility of unschooling or homeschooling, but still have the structure of the curriculum that is required. So basically the system is combining a couple of simple ideas, so that the subjects are just divided into teams, and the students can pick any of the teams and work on them on their own pace. And there are actually four types of assignments: questions and individual and group tasks. And the fourth one is kind of challenge questions, which are real-life challenge, and the student can decide whether to do all the other other assignments or just the challenge question, because the challenge question is so broad and gives the student kind of a real-life situation about the theme. The system doesn't include any study material, which is something I haven't really found anywhere else. Like the idea is that we don't tell the student how to study, we just give the kind of basic ideas what the student needs to know in order to pass the curriculum or the requirements. So there are lots of questions, simple questions, and tasks or the kind of ways to tell the student what kind of skills she or he needs. And there are no online tests or quizzes, so the assessment is done by the teachers and preferably together with the students. So it's not a traditional online learning environment, but rather a kind of online study systems, so which helps the students to organize their studying and make it more accessible, I'd say. And the idea of the student-centeredness was, of course, central. So there are no mandatory lessons, but the students can request for lessons. And students can suggest their own questions if they want, or they can replace tasks with another ones if they prefer. The resources are mostly provided by the students themselves. So the students can suggest internet links or other resources that they find useful. And there's no testing until the student tells that she's ready for it. And students can set their own schedule and goals, of course. And I'm just about to integrate a system where the student can ask for comments from other students and teachers for individual assignments. It's a social environment. So far it's been tested with about 30 homeschoolers, and the challenge usually with homeschooling is how to combine the students, how to make the environment social enough so that the students actually interact with each other. And this is also very challenging for us at the moment. So I've been trying to build some aspects, social aspects into the system. So the students can help each other, they can ask help from each other, and of course from the teachers. There are group tasks, and there's kind of events wall where the students can see what other students are doing or have done. And of course you can add friends and find other friends or find other users according to hobbies or other criteria. And integrated mail system and shoutbox. Shoutbox is a system where you just write something and it shows immediately to everybody else. So kind of chat screen. And the peer evaluation is coming soon. And one thing is that is exceptional from many other systems is that the adult roles are divided. So the teachers are not usually the evaluators, and basically anybody can be a teacher because teachers just give lessons and anybody can join. So the key roles are the tutors, who are kind of a classroom teacher role, checking that everybody is progressing on their on a correct pace, or at least some pace. And teachers who can be anybody. Also the students can be teachers, and there's a ranking system so that the teacher can tell what is his skill level in the subject matter from 1 to 5. So for example, a 5th grader can be a mathematics teacher for 1st graders easily, and he can tell that my skill level is 1. The evaluators are separate from teachers because I think the atmosphere of the lessons is disturbed when the teacher is also the evaluator. So I try to find other people to evaluate. And of course the administration handles the users and assignments. So I'm not finished yet, so let's take a look at the actual software. I'm using the application sharing here, so it might be slow. Actually, we could just check if you have some kind of questions at this point, and I will try to answer them during the demonstration. So you can, if you have questions, just write them down to the chat screen, or if you don't have questions, put a red X to your selection if possible. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, that's a good point with Evelyn. We have a kind of student or the study, how do you say, one subject with lots of questions and suggestions how the students could help themselves or find ways to study. So that is one way, and of course the role of the tutors is to help the students find ways to study and support them. And if it's used in homeschooling, then of course the parents' role is crucial. Okay, so let's move on, and if you have questions, just write down and I'll try to see them. So, of course, every user has a user account, and basically you just log in with your account, and this is the main screen. There are three panels. The top left one is kind of study panel or study planning panel, where you have all your assignments which you have set to do, and also you can see how many tasks you should do in order to stay in your schedule and reach your goal on time. So for example, here we have mathematics, and I've set the goal date for 1st of September, and if I switch the day, for example, to December, you can see that the right bar here goes down. It shows where I should be, and the green bar here shows where I am at the moment. So this gives a kind of raw idea where I should be. And if I update this, it shows that now I only have to do 3 tasks a week or assignments in order to stay on time. And for each subject we have teams, and there are several questions, tasks and group tasks in the team. And we start with the waiting list. Here we find all the assignments, and these are the group tasks. For example, this mathematics, this is the mathematics for 1st and 2nd graders. So you can see that there are no calculations at all in the system. The goal is to find the key ideas of mathematics and ask them directly from the student. And it's up to the student how they want to study and find the answers. There are a couple of these tasks which give some ideas how to practice or how to create the idea of mathematics. And the students can change them if they want to do something else similar. So basically when I start studying, I just pick one assignment, and if I want to put it on the to-do list, I click here, or if I want to work it right away, I click to edit answer. So basically I put it on the to-do list, and there are already a couple of assignments there. And now I can see that there's one additional icon here, which is the request for help. So if I don't know how I should actually do this, or I don't find the answer easily, I can check who are the students who are willing to help and the teachers who are teaching this subject. And actually for this question I've already requested for lesson. So if I click this, it will cancel my request, or I can request it again. And if I press one of the students, it shows the user profile, and I can send a message to the student. And the idea that if this was working inside a school, of course the students could study anywhere in the school premises, and they could just check who are the students who already done this assignment and are willing to help, and just go to them. So you don't actually need this messaging at all, just can find the students who are helping. And so I cancel here. And if I start working on it, it shows also my friends here. So I can see that this guy who is actually me, but because I'm a different user here now, it shows here, so I can invite. And even if this is actually a teacher, my role there, I can invite as a student. I can invite a teacher to join me with the assignments. And of course, if this was a student, it would show similarly. And here you can see the invitations. If somebody invites me to join an assignment, I can see the invitations here. And if a teacher offers a lesson, I can see them here, and I can join the lessons. And I can rate the question if I want to tell the teachers that this question was really boring. Just give it 1 star, or if it was really interesting, give it 5 stars. And then the idea of the progress is that I don't actually need to give the definite answer to this question. It's enough that I know the answer, and I can just put some notes for myself. And if I want to help other students, I can write some sources where I find the information, or some internet links here. So, and if it's a task which requires some special files to be uploaded, I can upload them here. And in the end, I can tell the system if I want to help other students in this question. And if I'm prepared to help anyone, I just save it, and the task is ready. Okay, and it goes to the Done tab. And let's see if I have anyone here. Here. Okay, so here we can see that I've already finished 2 of these teams, and after I've finished, there's a button ready for test. So the idea of a test is that because I don't give the definite answers to the system, so the teacher doesn't this teacher doesn't see in the system my answers necessarily. The idea is that when I press this button, it sends an email to the teacher, who is set as an evaluator for me, and the teacher checks me out, and we organize a meeting, and we discuss about these questions, and the teacher checks that I actually know the answers and goes through my assignments which I need to do some work on, like write some paper or shoot a video about some things that I'm doing. So basically, it's an interactive learning experience, also the test. So it's not just the paper that the teacher gives me, which I have to fill, but it's an interactive process. And when the teacher's finished with talking with me about the team, she can write an evaluation to the system, and I can see it here. Like I think there's one evaluation done already. So I can see what the teacher said about me, or said about my knowledge on this particular team. Okay, I'll just stop for a while and see if you have any questions at this moment. The tutors, the roles are freely chosen, so anybody can have several roles. Like a tutor can also be an evaluator, or teacher can be an evaluator. But yeah, I suggest that as few teachers as possible are evaluators. The student and teacher interfaces are a bit different, and I will show them a bit later. There's a different interface for all the adult roles. What kind of things, pieces do the evaluators assess? Yeah, I will show that also. They will assess basically in the meeting with the student. They will kind of informally check the knowledge and check the assignments or tasks that the student has done. How do they know when a student has something that is ready to be evaluated? Yeah, I think that I answered that already, that when the student presses the green button ready for test, then it sends the email to the teacher or the evaluator. Yeah, okay. So just keep writing questions. I'll come back every now and then. So let's continue with the demonstration. Okay, so I've shown the basic process of the study here. So the idea for the student, that the reason why the student should probably write some notes for herself, is that when you're ready for the test, you can just, there's this print questions button here, and you can print your answers also. So here you can have all the questions and answers, so you can prepare for the test. So maybe I'll show you the adult roles here at the moment. So I'll just log out this student here and log in as my administration user. So there are, you can pick any of the roles here that you are given the permission to use. So for this user, I have all the roles. I can be a student, tutor, teacher, evaluator, and the administrator. The tutor can see all the students that are set for him or her as students to be tutored. And here you can see the green bar shows the overall progress of the student, and the yellow bar shows the goal that the student has set for himself. So this test student is very, very far behind his goal, or her goal. So now the tutor can see all the answers that the student has put for himself. So if there are the basic idea is that the tutor can check if the student is kind of getting it or not, and can do interventions when needed. And if for a regular school, maybe the teacher has 30 students on average, maybe, so he can do a quick scan how the students are doing, and then pick the students that maybe are struggling and not progressing as they're supposed to. So so basically this is you can check also based on the subject here, and check the answers based on the subject. So basically this is the role of the tutor. And the role of the teacher, it's basically just teaching. There are no other tasks for a teacher. So the teacher doesn't have to check the progress of any students, don't have to do any evaluation. It's just plain teaching. And you can, as a teacher, you can do it in two different ways here. You can define any kind of lesson. If you are interested in giving some particular lesson that you're really interested in, find a new interesting article and you want to talk about it, and you just write a lesson about it. Or you can check what kind of request the students have made. So here you can see that there are 2 requests from physics and chemistry, and these are the questions or assignments that the students have requested, and we can see that who has requested them. And I can choose that I will do a lesson about this particular question and choose a classroom for the lesson and select the time. This shows all the free times, all the time slots available. If someone else has reserved, it will be shown here. So it's also a classroom management system. And there was this idea that this can be used as an open system also, where anybody could be a teacher and they can tell if they want some payment for the lesson. And when I'm ready, I'm just save it, and I can see if there are anybody signed up for the lesson, and I can remove it if I need to. And the evaluator part here. So if someone has asked for evaluation, I can see there's this energy request, energy team requested by test students, and I can see the answers here. This task done in another school, it's an automatic answer when a student writes or presses the button that she's done this team already in another school. That's the idea when students from other school come to this system, so they can set the teams which they've already done just by pressing this one button. So I can give an evaluation here. So, oh yeah, I've already done this evaluation, yeah. So if I want to do another evaluation, I can do it here. And it shows on red the ones which are not evaluated yet. So I can write the evaluation, and if I need to give a grade, I can give it here and set what's the evaluation type and so on. And then the administration panel. The administration can handle the users, so you can create a new user here easily, and you can see the settings. There's a role for parents also, if there's a parent, so we can set it there. And here I can see which are the subjects that I'm teaching, so I can set my skill level here for each subject that I'm teaching, and of course the rights, user rights are set here, and here this so if I want to be both the student and the teacher, I can also be that, so I can set the subjects which I'm studying also. This is useful when the user account is set for somebody who is who hasn't tried this system yet or is unfamiliar with it, so she can get used to the system from the perspective of a student also. And here I can set who are the students who I am a tutor for or an evaluator for. So there's no role for teacher here. So teachers are general people who can teach anybody. They don't have any groups. And then of course the subjects and themes can be set here. And I can add new themes and questions, and set which type of the question is. And here I can also set the translations. So the idea is that the system can have many languages, and the users can use it with many different languages. So I'll just go to the study part once more, and here I can switch the language to any other one. At the moment we have Finnish, English and Spanish. The Swedish is under construction. We actually have Hungarian also, but it's not installed in this version. And there's one, so I'll show you if I switch it to Spanish. So all the texts, the titles are switched into Spanish, and also the questions are switched to Spanish. So if the questions are translated, I can see them in other languages also. And let's switch back to English. So in a way, this system can also be used as a language tool, because the students can see the translations here, and actually they can hear it spoken also using this button. You cannot hear it if I click it, so I don't do it. But yeah, you can listen to how it's pronounced, and this can be also useful for some of the special education students, but also for the like first, second graders or the preschoolers who don't know how to read yet, so they can just listen to the assignments and still work with them. So now I'll just check your questions again. So our students are grouping class by age role level. So there are no classrooms in this system. The only groups are for the tutoring groups, and they can be assigned in any way at all, on any matter, on any way. Like I would suggest that you would have a tutoring group combined with different ages and different levels, so you can have a wide a group of different backgrounds and different ages, and you could meet several times a month just to see each other and have a kind of home base for yourself. What do you have in place for students who may be needing more assistance with basic skills? Well, the idea here is that when the resources of the teachers are freed, and also the tutors, so that there's a lot of adult resources. If this was used inside a school, of course the system itself doesn't necessarily provide much support for these, but the idea is to have these adults there available for help, because they don't have to spend all the time preparing for lessons and keeping the discipline and so on. So the students can study on their own, and the students who are able to manage it on their own, they don't really need much assistance. So the teachers have a lot of free time, a lot of resource to actually help the ones who actually need the help. And one thing more, in our in the Phoenix school, that is the online school in Finland that I'm running, we now have a little more than 40 students, and we have a special software for mathematics which we use, which is built in Finland, and it covers all of the mathematics, physics and chemistry for the elementary school, so the students can have those mathematics calculations and all kinds of stuff if they need and want. So it's offered for the family for a small fee. Is this platform open? That's a good question. We have this test version open, so you can test it out. But if you want to use it, it's not yet open, and it's not like open source. We are considering, or I'm considering if I want to make it open source, but I haven't made the decision yet. If you have some ideas for or against making this software open source, please feel free to tell your opinion. My reasoning or my idea would be at this moment that this could become a kind of open platform for studying, like Wikipedia. Like we could build a system where anybody could study whatever, basically from elementary school to university level, freely and with peer support and probably with teachers available. So you could actually do all of your studying free and with probably pretty much resource. So that's my kind of big dream, that this system could become. And the way that Wikipedia did it, I think it was that they announced the system and built the Wikipedia, and then made it open source so that anybody can build their own wikis with different topics. So that might be a good idea to do with this system also, so that we can have this basic like Wikipedia type of platform where anybody can study whatever, and then anybody can build their own new platforms for special purposes. Yeah, that makes sense, I think. Making it available as a type of social network to meet and learn. So do you have computers for each student, or do they have their at the moment in our school, because it's a homeschool based online system, online school, everybody has of course their own computer at home. But if it was used inside a school, I think it might be actually a good idea not to have a computer for everyone, So if you are familiar with Sugata Mitra's ideas, for example, I think his research has shown that the studying is most efficient when students are combined in small groups working on one computer instead of everyone having their own. So I'm a bit critical about this trend of giving a tablet for every student so they can study on their own. It might be a better idea to have just several computers around so the students can gather around them and work together. But I think this would be a brilliant tool also for schools who have given tablets for each student. And actually in the Netherlands there are starting several schools using mainly tablets, and I've negotiated with one of the principals there, so they probably will try to use this software there also. Are there guidelines for students to help them learn what is a reliable online resource? I think the best way, I don't know best way, but one way we're going to do is with the peer evaluation. It's not implemented yet, but I think it will be in 1 week or 2 weeks. And the idea is that when students has finished with a task or assignment, he can mark if she wants to have evaluation or comments from other students and teachers. So the students who have already done that assignment can see that this task, someone has asked for comments, and it will be anonymous. So both the commenter and the person who wants comments are anonymous. But you will get some idea of how people see your answer, and that might be a good way to improve the skills of finding the reliable online resource. So basically the peer evaluation. And of course the teachers can see the answers and the tutors. So there will be a constant checking that the students are not left alone. So, any more questions? The topic of this lecture was that this tool can be used to kind of combine homeschoolers and schools. So I'm kind of hoping that you see how it could be done. Like if this was used inside a school, it could actually give the freedom for the students to study on their own, have their own space, not having to go to the lessons necessarily, and it could have actually the same freedom for the family. So you could study at home also using the same system, and you could decide whether to be in the school or at home. So the family, for example, who is doing a lot of traveling, could use the resources of the school and still do homeschooling. They could homeschool, and the student, when they are back home, the student could go to the school, and it wouldn't be any problem. The student wouldn't be left behind or be ahead, because there's no such thing as being behind or ahead of time, because everybody can progress on their own pace. So I think this would give a lot of freedom and flexibility to schools and homeschoolers both. So are there guidelines for that's already answered, yeah. So yes, wondering if there's anything else I forget to tell. So basically, I think we are pretty much done here. I think I've shown some of the key aspects of the software, and I hope you got the idea, and you can try it out yourself at the right down here. knowledgeconstructors.com, and there's a test environment there. So thanks a lot. I think it has a lot of potential, and I really hope that this could like revolutionize some of the education. So thank you very much for joining, and I hope you find ways to use this software someday. Yep. So now we come back to the final screen. So you can also find me from Facebook with my name, and I just write my Facebook here, so you can add me if you want to continue discussing about this. Yeah, that's it. And I can just write my email. So you can use that also. Yeah, in order to finish this recording, it seems that everybody needs to exit the room first, and yeah, so I'll just quit recording when everybody's left. Thanks. It seems that Katrin and Gail are still there. If you can hear me, or if you have questions, let me know. But we need to, in order to end the recording session, you need to close the window. You can close the window by pressing the X or from the file menu, choosing exit. It might be that you have some problem. I'm gonna remove you from the session, Gal. Hope that is okay.